Have you ever wondered if Donald Trump will secure another presidential win? A question that's stirring up conversations and debates around dinner tables and on social media platforms worldwide. This topic is certainly controversial, given the tumultuous nature of Trump's first term and the polarizing effect it had on the American populace. We'll be navigating through this political minefield, discussing the factors that could determine the outcome of the next presidential race. Join us as we delve into this intriguing question. Remember Trump's unexpected victory in 2016? This question still echoes in the minds of many. Against a backdrop of skepticism and doubt, Donald Trump emerged victorious, capturing the White House in an election that surprised many, not just in America, but around the world. Let's wind back the clock and take a closer look at the factors that contributed to this unexpected outcome. Trump's appeal cut across a wide range of demographics. His promise of job growth, tax cuts, and deregulation struck a chord with many Americans, especially those who felt marginalized or overlooked by the establishment. His unconventional yet charismatic approach and his promise to disrupt the status quo resonated with many voters. Under his leadership, the economy experienced significant growth, with unemployment rates reaching historic lows. Moreover, Trump's administration introduced tax reforms that benefited both individuals and corporations, fueling a sense of optimism among his supporters. However, it's important to remember that his presidency wasn't a smooth ride. It was punctuated with moments of strong opposition and controversy. From public protests to impeachment proceedings, Trump's term frequently made headlines, often for the wrong reasons. Despite these challenges, Trump remained undeterred, often doubling down on his policies and decisions, further solidifying his base's support. But his term wasn't without controversy. Yet the question remains, will these factors propel him to another victory in the upcoming presidential election? Stay tuned as we delve deeper into this intriguing topic. Trump's presidency stirred up quite a storm. As the 45th president of the United States, Donald Trump faced opposition from various quarters. His term was marked by protests, impeachment proceedings, and vocal criticism from both the public and political pundits. One of the most significant oppositions stemmed from his controversial immigration policies. The infamous zero-tolerance policy led to widespread outrage and brought people onto the streets in protest. This policy, which involved the separation of families at the border, was seen by many as inhumane and un-American. Trump was also heavily criticized for his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Many felt that his administration's response was slow, lacked transparency, and was marked by misinformation. This led to a significant loss of trust in the government's ability to manage the crisis and protect the American people. His leadership style was another point of contention. Known for his bold and often brash approach, Trump's way of communicating, particularly on social media, drew criticism. His tweets often made headlines, with critics arguing that they were unprofessional and unbecoming of a president. Then there was the impeachment. Accused of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, Trump's impeachment proceedings were a major event during his presidency. Although he was acquitted by the Senate, the impeachment left a lasting mark on his presidency and further deepened the political divide in the country. Despite these controversies, it's important to note that Trump maintained a strong base of supporters who applauded his unorthodox approach and his commitment to challenging the status quo. They viewed him as a fearless leader who wasn't afraid to take on the establishment. As we navigate through these turbulent political waters, it's clear that the upcoming election will be heavily influenced by these controversies. However, it's not just Trump in the race. Meanwhile, another potential candidate is gaining traction. Joe Biden, a familiar face, enters the race. With decades of political experience, Biden brings a sense of seasoned leadership to the table. His campaign is shaped around key issues that resonate with many Americans, such as climate change, healthcare, and a promise to restore unity in a nation that seems more divided than ever. Biden's approach to climate change, for instance, is comprehensive and forward-thinking. He pledges to rejoin the Paris Agreement, a global pact to combat climate change, and has unveiled a $2 trillion plan to promote clean energy and sustainable infrastructure. This commitment has drawn in a wave of support from the environmentally conscious voters. On healthcare, Biden promises to protect and build on the Affordable Care Act, aiming to provide affordable, quality healthcare for all Americans. This stance on healthcare has won him the backing of many who see healthcare as a fundamental right and not a privilege. Biden's campaign also centers on restoring unity, a message that appeals to those weary of the divisive rhetoric of recent years. He speaks of healing the soul of the nation, aiming to bridge the divide and bring people together regardless of their political affiliations. However, despite these progressive stances, Biden's campaign has its challenges. His moderate policies might not resonate with voters looking for more radical change. Additionally, his long political history could be a double-edged sword, with critics pointing to past decisions that are now viewed as controversial. Furthermore, Biden's age is sometimes brought into question, with some wondering if he has the vitality to lead one of the world's most powerful nations. But Biden has been quick to dismiss these concerns, assuring voters that he's up to the task. In the end, Biden's campaign is a mix of progressive and moderate policies, a testament to his belief in a balanced approach to governance. Yet, it's important to remember that the race is not solely about policies and campaign promises. The outcome, however, is not solely in the hands of these two candidates. It's ultimately up to the American people to decide the direction they want for their country. Swing states and public opinion, two wildcards in this game. Now let's delve into the whirlwind world of swing states and public opinion. These are the unpredictable elements that keep political analysts on their toes and candidates awake at night. Swing states, also known as battleground states, are the states where the election could go either way. These states can tip the balance of an election, making them crucial targets for candidates. Historically, states like Florida, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin have proven to be unpredictable, with their electoral votes swinging between the Democratic and Republican candidates in different elections. In the last election, Trump managed to secure a surprising victory in several of these states. However, the question remains, will he be able to repeat this feat? It's a question that'll keep us on edge until the final vote is counted. On the other side of the coin, we have public opinion. It's a slippery eel, constantly shifting and changing. One day a candidate may be leading the polls, and the next, they're trailing behind. Public opinion is influenced by a myriad of factors, from the current political climate and economic conditions to the candidates' performance in debates and their campaign promises. Polls offer a glimpse into the public sentiment at any given moment, but they aren't always accurate predictors of the final outcome. Remember, in the 2016 election, most polls predicted a win for Hillary Clinton. But we all know how that turned out. So while polls do provide some insight, they should be taken with a grain of salt. In conclusion, swing states and public opinion play a pivotal role in determining the election's outcome. They're the wild cards, the unpredictable factors that can turn the tide of an election. As the race heats up, these elements will become even more critical and volatile. But there's one more key factor to consider. The stage is set for the candidates to go head-to-head. In the political arena, debates are more than just a verbal sparring match. They are a platform for candidates to present their policies, counter criticisms, and win over undecided voters. The upcoming debates promise to be a pivotal moment in this election. Trump, known for his bold and confrontational style, will likely use the debates to emphasize his accomplishments and challenge his opponent's plans. His unscripted and off-the-cuff approach has resonated with many voters in the past. On the other side, Biden, with his measured and methodical approach, will likely focus on presenting his vision for America's future. His calm demeanor could be a refreshing contrast to Trump's fiery rhetoric, appealing to voters seeking stability and unity. The debates are a litmus test for both candidates. Their performance could either solidify their support or sway the undecided. Indeed, the debates could tip the scales. So, will Donald E. Trump secure another presidential win? That's a question we've been wrestling with throughout our discussion. From reflecting on Trump's remarkable win in 2016 and his subsequent term, filled with job growth, tax cuts, and deregulation, to the opposition and controversy that it sparked. We've also considered Joe Biden's campaign, focused on climate change, healthcare, and unity, and the potential disconnect with certain voters due to his moderate stance in political history. The unpredictability of swing states and the ever-changing public opinion further complicate the prediction. And let's not forget the upcoming debates where Trump's bold style will clash with Biden's measured approach, potentially swaying voters' decisions. In the end, however, the outcome depends on the collective decision of the American people. Only time will tell. Stay informed, research the candidates, and exercise your right to vote. And remember, your voice matters. Your